Yagyu Munenori was one of the greatest swordsmen who ever lived, and his greatest achievement was the fights he never had.
You are Yagyu Munenori. I have trained my whole life for this moment.
I see that. I also see that you do not really want to fight me.
And how do you know that?
Because a man who truly wants to fight does not announce himself. You are not here to beat me. You are here to find out who you are. That is a question no sword can answer. You look hungry. Come, let me buy you breakfast. Let's talk.
Born in 1571, Munenori grew up in Yagyu village, a settlement hidden in the mist-covered mountains of Yamato. His family had lost their lands and status, reduced to masterless ronin, but they had not lost their art. Munenori's father, a legendary swordsman, trained his son from infancy in the family's secret techniques. But in those hard years, the Yagyu clan never abandoned their true legacy. Until he was a young man, Munenori trained relentlessly in the family's martial art, the legendary Yagyu Shinkage-ryu, learning its deepest secrets directly from his father's hand.
Good, my son. See first with your mind, then with your eyes, and finally with your body. Look past the sword, my son. Look at the man holding it. What made him raise his blade?
Answer that. And you may never need to raise your own.
At 23, Munenori accompanied his father to a fateful meeting with Tokugawa Ieyasu, Japan's shogun and ruler. This was their chance.
You are the Yagyu master I have heard about. I will test this no-sword technique myself. I'm impressed. Tell me more about your style. My lord, most schools teach how to kill an opponent. We teach how to control a situation before killing becomes necessary. That is the life-giving sword. I have never seen anything like this. You will teach my men. Yes, my lord, but I am old now. My son Munenori has learned everything I can teach. I ask that you allow him to serve you in my stead. Very well. The Yagyu will serve the Tokugawa.
For the Yagyu family, the Ronin years were over. Munenori entered the service of Tokugawa Ieyasu as a Hatamoto. They moved into a new home. The Yagyu had their foot in the door of the most powerful house in Japan, and Munenori intended to make the most of it. Munenori went on to serve 3 successive shoguns. Some debate he also ran a secret intelligence network for the Tokugawa shogunate too. In 1637, the Shimabara rebellion erupted in the south, a Christian uprising so fierce, it shook the Tokugawa shogunate to its core. Among the army sent to crush it was a 50-year-old Miyamoto Musashi himself, riding into battle, knocked from his horse by a rock thrown by a peasant rebel. These were Christian converts, peasants, farmers, the desperate and the faithful, who had been pushed to breaking point by crippling taxes, and brutal religious persecution. They were not fighting for land or power, they were fighting for the right to exist. And that made them the most dangerous enemy of all. One man in Edo Castle had seen exactly this coming before a single soldier had marched. He sought an audience with the Shogun. He had to stop this.
My lord, I would ask you to reconsider sending the commander to stop the rebellion. Reconsider? It is a peasant revolt. These are not peasants fighting over rice. They are people fighting for something they are willing to die for. That is a different war entirely. You question my ability? I question the situation, not the man. Religious wars are always a serious matter. He will die in battle.
The matter is closed. The commander rides at dawn.
The commander launched a reckless assault and died exactly as Munenori had warned. He had not read the battle or his men. Munenori had read both, the pride driving one commander, and the faith that made 37,000 rebels impossible to defeat by force alone. He had not simply studied war. He had studied people, what drives them, what breaks them.
I'm leaving!
No, my son.
I'm tired of being poor! Don't go, my son. It's dangerous.
It will be all right.
Having the wisdom to see a situation so completely, the people, the motivations, the consequences, that the outcome becomes clear before the first move is ever made. That is not a gift, it is a discipline, one that Munenori spent an entire lifetime developing. If you gaze at a single leaf on a single tree, you do not see the other leaves. If you face the tree with no intention and do not fix your eyes on a single leaf, then you will see all the many leaves. Yagyu Munenori. Munenori called his philosophy Katsujinken, the life-giving sword. Not the blade that takes life, but the wisdom that preserves it. The understanding that the greatest victory is the one that never has to be fought at all. He wrote it all down in the Heiho Kadensho, the life-giving sword, a book still read and studied today. We tend to mistake intelligence for wisdom. Intelligence is the accumulation of knowledge. Wisdom is knowing what to do with it, and when, and whether to do anything at all. Most conflicts in this world, in politics, in business, in relationships, begin not with malice, but with a missing piece of information that nobody thought to look for. A conversation that never happened, a question that was never asked. Munenori understood that the greatest battles are won before they begin. Not through force, not through speed, but through the patient, deliberate act of understanding a situation more completely than anyone else in the room. See the whole picture, ask the uncomfortable question, find what others have overlooked. That is what separates the truly wise from the merely clever. Sometimes, the sword that is never drawn is the sharpest sword of all.